Namaste everyone. In today's video, we're going to focus on Muni Patanjali's Yoga Sutra 4.12. Now in this particular Yoga Sutra, Muni Patanjali is helping us to understand why the past and the future seem like two distinct entities and how they can actually be understood or at least worked towards through a particular understanding of the Dharma. So let's take a good look at the sutra, start breaking it up word by word and understanding how this could be a possibility and what this sutra is all about. The sutra itself goes, Atitanagatan Swarupatosteya Dvabheda Dharmanam. Alright, so this is the sutra itself. Now let's go word by word, breaking it up to understand it even better. The first word in this case is atit, which means something that is gone away or the past. It also refers to history very often, like that is in the atit. So that is the first word. The second word here is anagata, which basically means something that's in the future. So anagata means something that has not yet come. And the next word is swarupato, which essentially refers to by its real nature or in its real nature. Then coming to the next word, we have asti, which refers to is. The next word is adva, which means path or direction. The word after that is bheda, which means difference. And the last word is dharma, which refers to the fundamental properties or the qualities of. Alright, so these are the meanings of all the different words. Now let's start understanding even more in detail what is this all about and what is the sutra saying. So in its essence, the sutra is telling us that we feel like the past and the future are two distinct separate entities, but in fact, it's just a difference in their dharma or in certain qualities that are different. So now that we know this, let's think about what this dharma could be. So what the commentators are referring to is that every single principle is either in its unmanifested form, which in physics we also call potential energy, or in its manifested form, which again we either refer to mostly as kinetic energy. So potential and kinetic. Now these two in the end keep interchanging or intermixing, and so we have the illusion of something appearing and disappearing, but when actually it has just changed its form and the way in which it was present or operating. So its essential dharma itself changed from being unmanifest to manifest or manifest to unmanifest. So that is what the sutra is trying to explain. And now let's go even deeper to understand why is this helpful for the yoga sadhak and why does he or she need to know this. So essentially what the sutra is trying to tell us that time itself is an illusion, as we had been discussing even in a previous sutra. But now it's going one step further and telling us why this illusion comes about and why it's so difficult for us to get out of it. So it's indicating to us that not only is time, in the previous sutras we'd learned, time is essentially just a lot of kshanas or moments stacked together. But at the same time, essentially what is happening is there's this illusion of there being a flow of time. Whereas actually there are just differences in the way that the dharmas are changing of a particular object. And the dharmas will change, which means the basic nature of an object will change because it's prakritic in nature, and prakriti as an element undergoes change in all circumstances. So given this natural nature of prakriti, everything is undergoing a constant change, and therefore the dharma of an object is also changing. Dharma means its natural quality, its natural property, and this natural property is undergoing a change over a long period of time. So because the object itself is changing, we confuse it to mean the passage of time, whereas actually it's just a change in the object itself. Time is just a mental conception. Right? Now this is useful for the yoga sadhak when he or she is studying this, because once they realize that it's all just a matter of an illusion and that it's not real, it's made up of dharma changes, then he or she can understand how and when those dharmas changed all along the timeline of that particular object. So for a normal person, if something disappears, or let's say if something perishes, right? It's very difficult for us to understand that that energy is gone into the unmanifest form and it will return in a new manifest form. This is too difficult to comprehend because for the normal person, this just sounds like metaphysics. It sounds like philosophy. We're not able to apply it. But for a yoga sadhak who has reached this level, they experience it. They know this to be true. And because they experience it, they don't just intellectualize it. Therefore, they're now able to work with it. They understand time so deeply and they understand that it's not about the past or the future. It's really just about the inherent change in the dharmas. They now know not to get too tied up in those dharmic changes and instead to kind of try to come out of that realm of change and, suffering, cycle of birth and death, etc. To come out of it requires the knowledge of time. If we do not understand the conception of time from this perspective, we will continue to feel stuck in that same bubble, in that same region. So for the yoga sadhak to come out of time, go into the absolute reality and be merged with it, it's literally like coming out of a dimension that we ourselves have created. So to step out of time, you need to know what it really is and why are we seeing this illusion of time, right? So that is what the sutra is essentially explaining to us, that the dharmic essential changes of the object itself are making us feel like time has passed. Okay, so let's think about it this way. When a person is born, right, when a baby is born, the baby itself is undergoing so many changes because it's prakritic. All of prakriti is evolving, changing, taking that person from a newborn stage all the way to old age. And so what do we say? This person is now 86 years old. So we are quantifying that time and putting it into a quantifiable unit and saying that they became 86 years old so that it's easier for us to grasp how much change has taken place and in what time period. But in reality, if we did not have the conception of time, essentially what is happening is prakriti is evolving, going from certain states of unmanifestation to manifestation and back and forth. That's why when you reach old age, some faculties go back. Like hearing, the sense of hearing actually lessens or reduces for some people. Whereas for some, if they've been practicing yoga or they have been really careful, it might stay the same, but mostly some of the sense organs depreciate. And that happens because certain potentialities or dharmas are changing because of the essence of prakriti that is causing these multiple changes to take place, and therefore it is just something that will happen by default of the nature of prakriti. Whether we said that this person is 86 years old or not, they would still undergo those many changes because of the dharmas changing essentially. But we, to make it easier to understand, say this person is this age, that person is that age, to kind of structure things. Otherwise it could be overwhelming for us to understand it. So time is a mechanism we have created to make it easy to grasp the abstractness of the world that we live in, but actually it's all just a question of the changing dharmas going from unmanifest to manifest and manifest to unmanifest. So that's what the sutra is trying to explain to us. And Sutra 4.12 is super important for the upcoming sutras as well. So if you haven't understood this, you feel like you have some doubts or questions, do rewatch this video and do leave your questions and suggestions in the comments box below so we can help you out if you have any further questions. Now, if you've enjoyed today's video, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Share this video with your friends and family, especially those that are studying the Yoga Sutras or Yoga philosophy. And also don't forget to subscribe to our channel because we release new videos every single week. We look forward now to seeing you in the next video or in our next class, course or workshop. Until then, take care, keep practicing, and we're going to see you in the next one. Namaste.